Good morning, my friends. Rich Lohman here with your thought of the day. Happy Wednesday to you. As always, Passport to Growth Day always puts a smile on my face, gets me going each Wednesday morning. So to my tribe, can't wait to see you guys and hear what you guys have to say about the value of attitude and how well you all do it and what you're going to do to improve. And for those of you that aren't in it, would love to have you join us. It's a growing, thriving tribe of people, and we're always welcoming more people. So, thought of the day. Thought of the day is on the word relate. Relate is to make or show a connection between things or people. It's also relate can be seen as feeling sympathy with or identifying with. Good morning, DJ. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Chad. Good morning, Stephanie. Happy to have you guys all in here already. And as you guys jump in here, make sure you say hi, good morning, and maybe where you're signing in from, because we don't always see who's all in here and who's watching, even if it's on a replay. Good morning, Rochelle. So James Murphy said about relate and being somebody that can relate to things. Life is this simple: birth, eat, drink, play, explore, and relate to family and friends. Be happy and enjoy life. So my thought today is about relating to one another. Can you guys ever remember a time when you were think back in history and go back to grade school? Remember a time that you went somewhere for school and you were afraid of something? Maybe you were afraid of taking a test, or maybe you were afraid of seeing that certain person because they liked you, they didn't like you, all sorts of different emotions. Can you guys remember that? Because that's kind of, you can relate to how somebody might feel about something. Now, likewise, can you ever remember a time, for those of you that are like me, that you had to give blood, and you get worried about giving blood because every time you give blood, you feel like you're going to pass out? I know that there's a percentage of people out there that are like that. Maybe there's people that are afraid of being taken advantage of because that's part of who they are. Or maybe there's people, because a part of your personality, you're afraid of being rejected in life. Can you relate to that? Or can you relate to maybe losing security because you're being alienated from a group? Can you relate to that? The reason I'm asking these, or maybe even if you're, can you relate to being criticized for who you are or what your choices are? Can you relate to that? Because I think that if we can relate to that, we can start doing a better job of having empathy, and we can do a better job of loving on one another if we can relate. There are things in our lives that we've gone through that we wish people would understand and know and can relate to, so that we don't feel ostracized or alone or alienated. And likewise, if you've ever felt those words, alone and ostracized and alienated from a group, then why would you do it to somebody else? Relate to what they have going on, relate to it, because I know that the growing gap between people that believe in masks or don't believe in masks, and the hate that comes from it, says we can't relate to one another. The gap growing between people that feel vaccination is right and feel that vaccination isn't right. Both are driven by some sort of belief and some sort of fear, some sort of set of paradigms. Both of them are. It's just different perspectives and different sides of the fence. But can we relate to one another? How do you relate better? Find common ground. We are all human beings that put our pants on one of two ways. You guys decide right now. Do you put your right leg in first, or do you put your left leg in first? Because quite honestly, that's the separator. Everything else, we're the same. We're human beings. The next thing that we can do to relate better is to listen more effectively. Stop having an opinion. Start asking questions. Start really listening to what the other person has to say and why they feel the way they do, and relate to why they do. Because I can assure you, somewhere in your history, somewhere in your past, you felt that way. The third thing that we can do to relate better is to develop empathy skills. That is a skill, and it's something that you should really, pay attention to, research, put somebody else's shoes on and walk in their walk and really have empathy for the life they live. The next thing is be genuine and authentic. We talked a little bit about that, in a past thought of the day, because it is be you and be the best doggone version of you, and the greatness message from yesterday. And the best version of you can relate to what other people are going through. How do you relate better? The fifth thing is acknowledge our similarities. We all are very similar in life, and that does, start with connecting on common ground, but then acknowledge and be open to our differences. We are not supposed to and not meant to all be the same. So if we're going to relate better, it's to acknowledge similarities and be open to the differences, and not bash people, close our mind to you're different, so you suck, and I'm going to, go out and publicly lash you with all the words I can, because that's not helping our society. You think it is, it's making you feel good, but it's hurting society. And the last thing about relate and relationships is we have to give it time. We're not giving this any time. We're rushing to judgment. We're rushing to emotion. We're rushing to action with our thoughts, words, and ideas, and we're expressing them before we can give it time to really let it sink in and think about the perspectives of our society these days. So my challenge, my call to action to each and every one of us is to learn to relate better, learn to have empathy and perspective on why people feel the way they do and what's driving their thoughts, what's driving their actions and feelings, what fears do they have that we don't even stop and think about. That's what I call the call to action on the thought of the day to relate better. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 18 says, "The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing." And I just want to call us out, call us to action, to allow the tongue of the wise bring healing. So as Mama always said, if you can't relate and you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. I hope you guys have an enjoyable day, and I look forward to seeing you guys in another thought of the day. Thank you for all your comments. Jump in, share more of your thoughts, and let's share this with people that we can make this message something that can get out there and people can learn to relate better with one another. Take care.